All right, guys, welcome back to Thriving Lives podcast and our weekly Zoom call. Give me a little bit of grace. I was just telling the people that are on the call right now before I started recording that it's been 4 or 5 weeks at this point, so I am probably going to be a little bit rusty today. But we're going to just be kind of recapping. If you didn't know, my wife gave birth to our baby girl Lola Marie Gates on September 29th. And since then we haven't been doing any Zoom calls. First off, just thank you all for being patient with me, both with Zoom calls and with check-ins and just delayed communication and all that good stuff. But I am getting back into my routines this week, and it feels awesome to do so. And then in the coming weeks as well. So welcome back, I guess. What I kind of want to talk about today, though, is how did I prepare before the baby got here? And this isn't the only way to do this, but how did I go into our first child getting here prepared, and what were my expectations and all that stuff, and how have I met those expectations since then? So first off, back in September, we had an idea that she was going to be delivering a little bit early. The due date was October 22nd. She ended up delivering on the 29th of September. So about 3 or 4 weeks early. And, leading into that, a couple of things. Number one, I was starting to kind of deal with some injuries, just a little bit of golfer's elbow, both from lifting and golfing extensively, because I knew I only had a few weeks and months to do it before the baby got here. And then also a little quad strain as well. So really my body was giving me some signs that, hey, I need to slow things down and back off a little bit. So I actually made the decision around mid-September to just stop working out altogether, focus more on, getting into the sauna, more stretching, mobility work, and all that stuff. Well, then the baby obviously came, and exercise has been on the back burner, which we'll kind of circle back to it a little bit. Now, food-wise, when I stopped training, just in general, food becomes even more important. So this is something where a lot of people that have the all or nothing mindset really struggle with. You might not be skipping the workouts because of injuries and things like that, but it might just be real life things that happen. And when the average person starts missing workouts, is they allow their nutrition to slip, because they feel like, if I'm not doing my workouts, then who cares what I eat? I'll get back on track tomorrow or next week. And sometimes it's vice versa as well. Maybe your food's been off, so you're like, why even work out? And again, we don't want to just slash all 4 tires just because we lost one. We want to control what we can. So when I stopped, training mid-September, I just got more food focused in terms of nailing my nutrition, just to maintain where I was at, especially maintain where I was at, especially going into having the baby, and setting myself up for success. Now, before the baby got here, one of the things I was doing was I've always kind of meal prepped 2 weeks worth of protein and freeze half of it in the freezer, and then thaw it out as needed. But we got a deep freeze out in the garage, in anticipation for freezer meals that our families are making us. But also I was like, I'm gonna have to share my freezer with extra breast milk and all the good stuff. So I was like, all right, I need to get this freezer. So I actually started making about a month's worth of protein all at once. That would be chicken, ground turkey, beef, steak, salmon, all that stuff. And then I would be freezing it into big, large glass Tupperwares, putting it in that freezer. And so I actually did that the week before the baby got here. So right now, I actually still have about 2 more weeks worth of cooked protein. So ground turkey, salmon, and chicken, and I don't have to meal prep. So that was in anticipation of just the baby might come a little bit soon. Luckily, I was fully prepped and ready to go for that. So really the only thing I've had to meal prep since she's been born is rice once a week. Because all my protein's there. I have my eggs in the fridge, and then I have my protein shakes as well. So really that's all my food that I really, really need, that are my staples to have on hand. Some of the other things that are kind of staples, I'll have bread, with my eggs. I'll have, a little bit of cereal or like granola at night as well. I get that from Sam's Club, so I'm pretty stocked up on that. And then a little bit of fruit. And so one of the things that, we haven't really gotten to the grocery store nearly as much in the past couple of months. So, we always keep frozen fruit in the freezer anyway. So I have that on hand as well for my protein shakes and stuff. So really that was my biggest focus, was as soon as I got out of the hospital, was dial in my nutrition even more as best I could. Now there's been plenty of occasions where I've had to go out to eat with family members and friends and do all the social stuff so they could, meet Lola. And so obviously those meals, I control what I can. I don't go overboard on those meals. But they have been happening more times than not. But this is also the season of life that I'm in with it. So I'm just embracing it. But the biggest thing is, I don't know why that's going off. second. It says do not disturb. Why is that happening? Renee, you got any answers for me?
You probably have to do not disturb your laptop.
Oh my gosh. It says that it's on. Yeah, it says do not disturb. Anyway, sorry that if that keeps
Maybe
going.
they said notify anyways.
Oh, that's rude. Um, what's the point of having it on my phone if somebody can just push right on through? Anywho, though, so yeah, so we want to, I haven't been able to really work out, and so part of that was I already knew going into October, whether the baby came or not, I was going to be taking off that entire month for working out. So that's actually been a good stress relief, because if I was still trying to get in workouts right now, I mean, sleep has obviously been not amazing. And so I would be kind of digging myself a bigger hole if I was forcing all these intense workouts, not sleeping, and especially if my nutrition was off. So by giving myself the grace to not hit my workouts right now and just focus on controlling what I can, which is really just water intake and nutrition and sleeping when I can, I've been able to maintain pretty well. Actually, I ended up dropping my calories a little bit mid-September through now. I'm actually down about 10 pounds, mainly of water weight and just inflammation from not training as well, but also just a drop in calories as well. So that's kind of where I'm at. Again, nutrition has been my biggest focus with it. Now, sleep, of course, is one of those things we always want to try to keep in check. But this is why, I give, especially my clients with children, especially newborns and stuff like that, is that sleep is. I knew this was my biggest fear coming into having a baby. It wasn't the changing of diapers or all the fears of just being a new parent. It was really just sleep, because it's so hard for me to figure that out. But or to go without. And ultimately that has kind of sucked. My body has adapted. I think I'm wearing my Whoop band and track my sleep, and it's broken up hours, but without having to go to work right now, I'm still getting about 7 or so hours a night. It's just broken up over the course of like 10 hours. So not as quality as I would want, but again, I'll take those ones when I can get them. But so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at and what I've been doing. I have been getting back into the gym the past week and a half or so, not doing any workouts, honestly, just going to the steam room or the sauna. I go to Ward Parkway Genesis here and there, and I'll do some like hot and cold therapy. So I'll get in the steam room, and then I'll get in the cold pool and kind of go back and forth a little bit as well, and just work on more stretching mobility work while I'm in the sauna. And yeah, I'm hoping here in the next couple weeks I can actually get back to my normal workouts. But that's really, I just wanted to kind of recap on where I've been and what's been going on. So again, I really appreciate all of your guys' patience and grace you guys have given me. But I'm going to open up the floor. Nessa, you got on right after I said this, but everybody that's on the call right now is fairly new to TLF, and we haven't been doing Zoom calls as long as you guys have actually been in TLF. So the floor is yours. If you guys have any questions on the topic I just talked about, or any questions in general about what's been going on, anything you're struggling with, anything you need help with, Renee and I are here for you. And if you guys don't know, this is Renee that's also on the call with me, and she's the other TLF coach. So yeah, you guys got anything for me? Renee, you got anything as well? No questions so far, Anessa. All right. And speaking, and Anessa, you don't need to share on this, but Anessa here is moving from Kansas City to Denver, Colorado. She is a licensed massage therapist, and she's going to be crushing it out there in Denver. But so that's, for her, this is a different transition. A lot of clients here would be moving at some point, and she just so happened to start as she's moving, and we're working on kind of controlling the controllables when it comes to that, and also setting the expectations correctly. Obviously in the middle of a move, not just a move across town, but a move across the entire state of Kansas to the other side into Colorado, there's difficulties with that. She's traveling out there, interviewing for jobs, or figuring out home and stuff of that nature. So in those times, it's going to be hard to be on it on all levels. So it's about just controlling what we can. Yeah, so she said here in her message, big changes. I need to be in the best shape of my life for work, which that's exactly kind of why she's here and getting rocking and rolling with it. So once she gets settled, then she'll be kind of hitting the ground running with it. Any other questions though? Thoughts, struggles, anything? Today I didn't really have much of a deep topic. We'll plan ahead. Me and Renee will kind of put our heads together and figure out what we want to talk about for the coming weeks. I know obviously this time of year it's we have Thanksgiving coming up in like 3 or 4 weeks. I think like 4 weeks. And then Christmas right after that, New Year's right after that. And so we'll kind of do some topics revolving around that. But yeah, that's all I've got unless you guys have some questions for me. Nothing. Nothing. No worries. All right. Well, I'm trying to think about anything else on the horizon. I don't think I really have much else for you guys.
Check in tomorrow.
Yeah, check in tomorrow. Yep, Thursday. So if you're listening to this playback, obviously you're listening to it whenever I've released it and whatever day you're listening to it on. But yeah, check in on Thursday, get that done. I have really liked, it's funny, when that first week when the baby was here, I was like leading into that, I was like, hey, the baby's here. You hold your check-ins this week unless you definitely need something or you're brand new into TLF and you really need some help. And it's funny because I think I had like a record turnout that following week once the baby was here. So that was awesome. And then really since then, I think, October, I do love this time of year, September and October. I feel like, with kids going back to school, everybody in general is just in a better mindset of like almost like it's a new year. Even though New Year's isn't until January, but it almost feels like a new year when the fall hits. And so I've loved the consistency with the check-ins across the board. So y'all keep that up. That's the biggest predictor to your success, especially over these coming months, because with the holidays, and again, I won't dive into those topics as much because we're going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks, but this is a crucial time to, at the very, very minimum, maintain and tread water through the holidays. Plenty of clients are going to make a ton of progress during the next 2 months. A lot of people, the biggest goal you can have is just to tread water, maintain, control the days you can. Then you're going to have holiday events and parties and get-togethers and family stuff, and you want to enjoy that stuff. And I'm going to tell you to enjoy that stuff. But then we want to control the days leading up to it, the meals that day leading up to whatever that social meal is, and then the days after that, of course. So, and all the days in between. So control what you can, and keep checking in. That's just the biggest thing. There's going to be probably a week here or there, or a couple days here or there where you don't feel necessarily proud of necessarily your decisions. Maybe you just really gave into those cravings and into the stuff that you really wanted. But again, those are the weeks that it's by far the most important to check in, because if you started making those allowances for yourself, then you make the allowance that, hey, I'm not going to check in this week, whether that's because I'm going to keep letting this thing snowball and I am not going to get it in check next week and you don't want to talk about it. Or you think, okay, I don't want to check in this week. I don't feel good about this week. I want to have a good week to report to Renee or Marcus. And ultimately, it doesn't work that way. Most likely, if you had a bad week and you did not reflect on it, you did not talk about it to yourself or to your coach, then it's probably going to continue happening. And then you're going to feel worse and worse and worse. And before you know it, you're too embarrassed to even check in a month down the road. And then you've dug this hole for yourself that's now, you put yourself behind the eight ball. Now you're having to dig out of this bigger hole when we could have really, stopped it after just a couple days or just a week. So always, always, always check in, good things, but especially the bad things. But yeah,
And
that's
that's when I think especially it's a good time to lean on your coach at that point to
definitely
be able to help you kind of reel it back in.
100%. And I mean, like I just said, I haven't worked out I haven't worked out in 6 weeks, and my nutrition has been kind of spotty here or there, but I'm controlling what I can. And it's important to just know that you're not going to be perfect, and it's okay to not be perfect. That's almost unhealthy to have this perfectionist mindset, because you're gonna just struggle a whole lot more with it. So it's okay to not be absolutely perfect, but definitely, like Renee just said, lean on your coach during that time. At minimum, it might just be us giving you some grace. Or it might be us saying that, right now you don't really need grace. You're making excuses. You could be controlling some things that you're not. And let's just focus on what those things are. Again, it doesn't matter about being perfect. It's what can we control today? What can we control tomorrow? Not throwing away an entire day because you can't be 100% spot on. But that's it. I think that's the message of the day, though. Message of the week. Renee, you got anything else for me?
Not really.
All right, sweet. Well, get out there and enjoy the decent weather before it gets even colder, guys. And I'll see you guys. Well, Renee and I will both see you guys on check-in day over the next couple days. And yeah, have a good week. Welcome to November. All right. See y'all.
Bye.